It's weird how hearing that jingle when you first turn on the Kodak, it brings back a lot of memories. This is the Kodak ZI6. This is the first reel by 2009 standards, which means that it was barely acceptable that people wouldn't want to vomit looking at your footage, which, if you look at it today, it's still vomit inducing. But it was the first tolerable camera that I could afford for Review Tech USA. And it's this thing. This isn't my original one. I repurchased it, assuming that one day and hoping that one day I would hit 1 million subscribers, because I bought this in hopes that one day I would hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Wasn't sure I was going to, because this is a huge part of this channel's history. As dumb as this may seem and as cheap and crappy as this camera, even back in 2009 was, it was the best I could afford back then. This was my workhorse. And looking back at those videos, I remember vividly recording a lot of them. This channel started out of boredom. I'll give the backstory on it. I first started a channel when I was working a third shift at IBM, or even before that I had one. No, I bought a Dazzle capture card back in 2007 from Circuit City, and I had an old channel called RLM Audio, and I remember uploading, I believe, some Virtua Fighter footage from the Xbox 360, whatever Virtua Fighter game came out there. And I actually named that channel because I was going to sell amplifiers with my dad, and I was going to use YouTube to upload videos and show off the amps that he fixed. He would buy them off of eBay, fix them, and sell them. That never ended up happening, and I just started in, let's say more so 2008, just uploading a bunch of random videos. I remember being third shift at IBM, middle of the night, and I recorded a review of my PSP because I was playing God of War on the PSP. And that was it. I uploaded a couple more videos after that, and it was just more so like a side thing that I did. And then in late 2008, my life turned around. I just broke it off with someone that I was in a relationship for over a year. So I had a completely different living situation. And then I got laid off from IBM. The interesting story about this channel, too, let me back up a little bit, was that Review Tech USA, I remember I came home from Thanksgiving, celebrating Thanksgiving with my family in Long Island. And I was like, Review Tech USA has a nice ring to it. And knowing me back then, I was so insecure that I probably wanted to make a secondary channel to like my own videos. I'm unfortunately not kidding. But the name also, I'm like, I could picture someone else taking that name. I probably should make the channel now and just have it, just as a placeholder. And I did. I remember sitting there on my HP Pentium 4 hyper-threaded computer, which I got from a client because he didn't want it anymore. I used to go to people's houses and fix computers too. He's like, hey, man, he paid me. And on top, he's like, yeah, I don't need this computer anymore. Take it. So I made that channel. And I didn't put anything on there until the summer of 2009. I was still putting stuff up on RLM Audio. And I was still working at IBM. And there were rumors going around that I was going to get laid off. Our whole division was going to get laid off. And it was what it was. And I occasionally uploaded a video. I went from working third shift to first shift. And then I got laid off. 2009, we had a Christmas break. From 2008 going into 2009, we had a week off that was unpaid, by the way. Very sweet of them. And they brought us into a room across the street from IBM and said, hey, congratulations. You're all laid off. You'll get unemployment. Then I had nothing but time on my hands. That was at the peak of the recession. So really what I did was I started YouTube out of boredom. And this was the camera that I could afford. And these are the videos these are some of the bangers. I'll have links to them below in the description, that I filmed with this. And I remember one of my big influences was Classic Game Room, and I you could probably sense that from my earlier videos. And it's weird because as much as that was one of the lowest points in my life, looking back at it now and the great memories I created on YouTube, it was it was a really special time too. And even though those were really low points, thinking back on, personal stuff that was going on with me, I look at those videos and have nostalgia. It's very strange to look back at them when you back at a crappy point in your life and you're like, man, there were some good times in there. But that was really it. I did YouTube maybe hoping that I could get, people here, hey Rich, they like your voice, they want to hire you at a radio station. That's kind of what I thought. It wasn't really until 2011 that I kind of thought maybe something else could happen with this. I started on 2010 working on That Guy with the Glasses, and then they moved me over to Blistered Thumbs, and I was like, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe on That Guy with the Glasses was where I was supposed to be. Thank God I was wrong about that and listened to some other people. Because what's interesting is you're going to hear some interesting names here if you're OG YouTube viewers. I tried quite a few times to get into the partner program. Like, you think it's tough getting partnered on YouTube now? Back in the early 2010s, forget about it. And it was like, what did I try? Like 5 or 6 times. And by like the 5th time I tried, and it got denied. I was just like, forget this. Why am I even doing this? I'm on That Guy with the Glasses. I give up on YouTube. Why am I going to focus on YouTube when I'm already kind of working somewhere else? It wasn't like I was really making any money. I made a little bit, but I thought there was more potential for growth. And Black Bond came through and said, dude, what are you talking? Dude, just try again. You're going to give up on YouTube? Really? For That Guy with the Glasses? You don't know where that website's going to be. YouTube ain't going anywhere. Just keep going at it. And Black Bond was right. Black Bond was 110% right. And I got to give a shout out to Broken Games HD too, because he gave me advice on getting a partnership, and it worked. It worked right away. He was 210% correct. So if it wasn't for those guys, I don't know what the hell I would be doing now. I got to give credit where credit is due. But that wasn't, in 2011, I still was like, all right, I'm making some side money off of YouTube. Never saw this, or I didn't think it was possible, I should say, to have a career. Not that I never saw it, but I'm like, come on, man, be a realist. That's like a lottery ticket. You're out of your mind. So I kept going. I kept making videos. And it wasn't until 2013 where I was like, wait a second, the numbers are adding up. And I just got this job. I was a night shift manager at a gym. Yes, I'm serious. And figures at that point, I was sitting down doing the math. I'm like, I could make more money doing YouTube full time and focusing on it than I would working at this job. But at first, in the beginning, because even back in 2013, the idea of leaving a real job for YouTube was insane. It was, and I wasn't like I was super young when I first thought about doing YouTube full time. And I was already 31, and that's like being 75 on YouTube. On YouTube. So my plan of possibly leaving my job to do YouTube full time leaked, and there were many people, family mostly, that were like, he has to be kidding me. He got laid off in 2009. He had a couple side jobs here and there because the economy sucked, and he finally got something full time, and now he's going to stop that to do YouTube. What is he, 12? I'm not really exaggerating about some of those comments, but in the end, I sat down, did the math again, showed it to family, and they were like, all right, yeah, I see what you're saying. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, it's on you. And the first month I did, I made at that time more money than I ever thought. And here I am. I remember sitting down. It was in June of 2013 when I first started doing YouTube full time. It was just surreal. Like woke up in the morning and I was sitting there in front of my computer. I'm like, this is what I did pretty much minus a couple dollars here and there for free since I started uploading. And now I'm making a living doing this. I couldn't, it was like euphoric. It was like I was going to pinch myself, wake up and be in a cubicle somewhere at a job that I hated. But here I was, and it was a dream. And then it was like a perfect storm too, because in 2013, the 8th gen consoles are right around the corner, and I was talking about them a lot. So that helped me in the algorithm. In that year, 2013, I hit 100,000 subs at that time. I'm not going to go into too much more about it. I think I've already rambled enough, but first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for supporting this channel. I've almost been doing this now full time for a decade. I didn't think I would, even after I full timed it. I'm like, if I get a couple years out of this, that'll be cool. I could say I had a run on YouTube, but here I am still doing it, still evolving, still changing. I have other projects going on that are really exciting, and I can't ever picture not doing this. And the fact that I hear people all the time saying, Rich, I was 14 when I first started watching you. Now I'm married with kids. Or I was in high school and now I'm 30. And it's the fact that people have decided, because a lot of times, especially when you're younger, people just kind of, all right, I used to watch someone for a few months, but then I grew up and got over their stuff. The fact that people are going from sometimes childhood to full grown adulthood, saying they've watched me for sometimes half of their lives is, well, in a way depressing, because it means I'm old as crap, but is very humbling, because there's a billion other people you could watch on this platform. And the other thing I want people to take away from this too is, don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do. Don't let anyone tell you that what a real job is, because there's this thing, especially in the States, that if you don't hate your job, if you are miserable at your job, that's a real job. You have to hate your job and be miserable, because that's what real people do. That's what a real hardworking American does. What I'm telling you is, you are you. You go to bed and you are you at night. Don't do something with your life, and don't let someone else choose what to do with your life when they aren't you. They don't have to be you. What their choices are for you means nothing. You won't be happy doing what someone else thinks you should do. Okay, all right, the job has a salary and benefits, but if you're being so stressed out and miserable at it that the reason that you need the benefits is because you're at the doctor all the time from being sick from the job stressing you out, what's the point? You gotta take risks, and you gotta do what you want to do with your life to be truly happy. It's not even about money. Money, if the money comes, great, but you're better off taking a job for $50,000 a year that you're very happy at than a job for $500,000 a year that you're miserable at. And I had no plan with this. I'm just an idiot who turned a camera on and just started talking about crap he was interested in. And it went somewhere, and I went for it and didn't let people who were saying I shouldn't do it stop me. So if there's any advice I could give, is do what you want to do with your life. Go after the dreams that you want to go after, because that is what will truly make you happy. Don't do things to appease other people. Don't take career and life choices to appease other people that you know don't suit you. And most importantly, for all the people out there throughout the decade almost that I've been doing this full time, who stuck with me since before I full-time this. There's people telling me that they even followed me from RLM Audio, that little tiny channel with a couple hundred subscribers. Thank you. If it wasn't for everyone supporting me through all these years, through the lows and highs, through the mistakes I've made, through the crazy crap that's happened, I still wouldn't be here doing this now. And this is something I want to do in some way, shape, or form forever. The content may always evolve, but I always want to create, and this channel isn't going anywhere. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one, and thank you so much. And I can't believe I dealt with this camera for like 2 years, but You got to do what you got to do when you're broke. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon.